1978, I came to Europe to compete for the first time. It was pure driving. It was real racing. And that makes me happy.
Oh my goodness, this is fantastic!
I think we are watching the arrival of Ayrton Senna, a truly staggering talent.
You know, I'm excited because we've finally found the guy to direct the Gran Turismo movie. Finally, a good video game movie, Leon.
Well, no. Didn't we have a good video game movie recently? Not including Scott Pilgrim, something else?
Scott Pilgrim's not based on a video game, so it doesn't count.
Let me think. The Help? Wasn't that a video game? Wasn't that like an Atari 2600?
Okay, maybe I'm just thinking like we had a good prequel movie, so I was like, okay, they broke that stigma.
No, it's a prequel movie. In fact, we had a couple good ones, and it was you were like kind of freaking out. We had to take you to the hospital. It was weird.
I know.
but no, if we have a great video game movie, it might be the Gran Turismo one. If you were going to get somebody to do it, it's this guy, Asif Kapadia, which, by the way, I'm going to right now say a codicil, like a warning. None of the names in our review of Senna may be actually pronounced the way that we pronounce them.
Wait, is it even pronounced Senna?
Yeah, it is.
That at least I
know is that at least I know is true because they only said his name like 100 times in this documentary, which that would make a lot of sense. But it's funny you say that he's directed it, even though when you watch this film is nothing but a series of footage taken from like news reports and the actual like racing, like the cameras inside the vehicles.
Oh, okay.
But it's really well done. I think the guy should really just call himself an editor, if anything, besides a director, honestly.
It's funny because like it is totally it's a film that's a documentary about the life of this guy, one of the most famous Formula One racers ever, and the last guy ever to die during Formula One racing.
He's the last one. Nobody else has died.
Nobody else has died since, according to the movie, anyway.
Which is crazy, yeah. Because then it starts becoming like a J-horror or something. Because you're like, how did this happen? Why? And the cool thing about this is that, for some reason, I don't know if it's just me. I'm curious how many people out there like actually have ever heard of this guy, because I honestly have never heard of him. No, if he is an icon, I had no clue.
Yeah, okay. Now, to be fair, the moment I see racing on television, my finger starts making the clicking thing. Like, no, I don't want to see that. Go back to racing.
No, I would always get pissed off because that shit used to come on like right after like my kick-ass Saturday morning cartoons, where I'm like, hey, it was either golf or some racing show interrupting Spider-Man and his amazing friends, and I was like, you do not fucking interrupt Spider-Man and his amazing friends.
Yeah,
they're saving lives.
I remember the Wild World of Sports that would come on Saturdays, and I guess one thing that was kind of cool about it was that you get all these different sports, but you get like a little bit. They go, hey, here's 15 minutes of golf. Here's 15 minutes of racing. Here's 15 minutes of downhill skiing.
Yes.
Yeah, 15 minutes of dumbassery that I will understand. Yes.
Here's an hour or two of things that are not cartoons. Yeah. That's all I knew that was.
Well, Carlos, let me ask you this. Mm-hmm. I mean, I understand you haven't heard of Senna, but who named 5 of the other Formula One racers that you know?
I can't. Honestly, the only racer I know are like I don't even know the
Racer
names.
X.
I don't even know the names. Yeah, besides Racer X, and Speed Racer. The two guys that were like the two father and son team that were race car drivers, and the father, I think, who was a legend, ended up dying.
Was that Al Unser?
NASCAR. That was NASCAR racing. Those are the only two guys. If I saw their face, I'm like, okay, I've seen them. I know who they are. I don't know their name, but anyway.
Well, that's the funny thing because we're getting Formula One racing in Austin. It's a big deal.
Yeah.
It only just occurred to me like over the weekend. It's like, oh wait, that's not NASCAR. It's a completely different type of car.
They have actually had the people from that who are like in charge of that showing up at the movie theater with like little model cars and going, hey, anybody wants to talk about the Formula One racetrack coming? I think they're still trying to get support at this point.
No, that car outside was collecting dust.
Yeah.
Now what I'm here, it's a huge deal. It's going to be a big deal for our city.
I guess.
I know, but it is one kind of thing where we don't know any of the people.
I don't know anything about the economics involved either, so I have no idea if it's going to be a drain or if it's going to be something big. I don't know. I don't care, but I'll tell you, I care a little bit more after seeing Senna, because to bring it right back where we started.
Oh, you want to review the movie?
I want to review the movie.
Fine.
I know. This guy who co-host and I were totally unfamiliar with because we, like I said, were just pissed that our cartoons weren't on anymore, is considered to be one of the greatest race car drivers of all time. He was hugely beloved in his native country of Brazil. I mean, he was considered a national hero. In fact, y'all probably heard us mention our buddy Antonia, who is not from Brazil. He's from Panama. But the moment I mentioned seeing this movie, he just was like, that guy was so amazing. Like you were talking about a saint or something.
That guy was amazing. And he was a wonderful man. I'm so excited for you to go see that.
And it's funny because like I didn't even want to see this. I went to see it by accident. I was supposed to go see that Anne Hathaway movie with Corey.
I was about to say, how do you see a movie by accident?
Hey, I came to see Anne Hathaway's titties. What is with all these goddamn cars?
Well, I was like, I don't care about racing. And I was sitting there, I was like, wow, that's weird. Corey's not here. And I thought, I wonder if he went to go see Senna. And the guy sitting next to me went, this is Senna.
I want titties. I want titties, not tires.
No titties.
Boom, 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 boom.
But best decision I could have made, because if y'all have heard the one-day review, I got the better end of this deal. Because Senna is the best documentary I've seen in, a very long time.
I'm right there with you. I mean, you talk. I mean, I didn't know about this until you told me, and you told me you got all emotional about it.
I did,
and I was like, pussy. But holy shit, the movie did that to Cyrus. All right, maybe I should check it out. And it's about racing. I'm like, all right, I'll give it a shot. And I went and saw it. Wow, you talk about seeing a movie and getting about as much information as you possibly could get out of who this person is, what he did for the racing industry, and just how he's looked upon as almost like a god in his country, in which you see this and you understand, you sympathize, and it's just an amazing film because it gives you everything you need. It's better than going and looking it up on Wikipedia. I swear to God.
No, I'm looking at it right now on Wikipedia, and it's pretty awesome.
Who needs that?
You mentioned earlier, co-host, about how it seems weird to call him a director and not an editor because there's really no new footage on the
Not
whole.
at all.
It's all pieced together from who knew how extensive it was, collection of interviews and footage in the car, everything from his life as it was happening. There's no people looking back and going, well, he was like, it's not like that. And that's kind of his genius in the same way. And why I give this director credit for doing it this way, because you watch this unfold as if it was a narrative film because you're right there with it. I mean, I didn't know going into it that he dies, and I'm sorry, spoiler, but he's a world renowned famous guy who famous for having died. So sorry if I spoiled it for you.
How old was he when he died?
He was like in his 30s.
Yeah, he was
early 30s.
Pretty young.
Yeah,
and he was at not quite the height of his career, maybe just a little bit over down the bell curve, but still, right up there. One of the most popular racers in the world. And watching it play out this way, even if you know that he dies, it's just it's just amazing. You're so with it. You're just rooting for him, and you're just excited for every little win that he gets.
You should know that by being a racing driver, you are under risk all the time. By being a racing driver means you are racing with other people. And if you no longer go for a gap that exists, you're no longer a racing driver. Because we are competing. We are competing to win. And the main motivation to all of us is to compete for a victory. It's not to come third, fourth, fifth, or sixth. I race to win, as long as I feel it's possible. Sometimes you get it wrong, sure. It's impossible to get it right all the time. But I race designed to win, and as long as I feel I'm doing it right. Some people agree, some don't. In the end, I'm the one who is doing. I am the one who is driving. And I can only do what speaks from my mind.
And it's all very competitive with the guy who was his teammate, Alain Prost. And once again, no idea if I'm saying that correctly.
Prost, I think that's right. Yeah, and that's good that he's in there because you talk about with a movie, you always need to have that villain. You need to have it somewhere.
Yeah.
Either the film will make it to be about the company the guy's working for that doesn't give a shit about the sport. They just want to make money off him. Here, you actually have a guy who is like his teammate, but you could tell there's like a rivalry going on, and throughout the film, you actually see it build up, and even to the point where you're like, is this rival trying to kill this guy or what? Because it is amazing how they show it. And of course, they have all the controversy that surrounds it, which it's like, wow, you can't write this. This looks like it was completely. This guy's life is a fucking movie. It's a movie in the waiting,
Yeah.
and
they don't even write the villain as just a regular villain either. He's like a great villain, like one of those gray guys, because you understand where the movie makes you understand where he's coming from and why he's pissed off at this little upstart who comes out of fucking nowhere, who didn't go through the proper channels and is suddenly the biggest, baddest motherfucker in racing. And this guy's been like playing by the rules, earned his keep, worked his way up to get to where he is guy. And he's like, fuck you, dude.
It's like, what, you got to where you are because of passion and because you actually like racing? Fuck you.
Wait, didn't I already see this movie when it was called Amadeus?
You know what? Yeah.
This is exactly what we're going through with the loading bar guys right now. Soon we're going to knock them right off the track on camera.
Their animation looks cooler than mine. Fuck them.
I know, how come they have moving title rating cards?
Got
What is
lasers
that?
and shit
I know.
all over the place. Looks like goddamn Pink Floyd concert.
Bitches need to go down. No. So yeah, I don't know. This is a film that really took me by my surprise. If I had any complaint at all, it's just that, like I said, I didn't know he was going to die, but the film is like the foreshadowing in the last 20 minutes of his death is so heavy. And you don't think you could do that with documentary footage, but oh wow, they do everything but film a crow landing on his shoulder.
Wait. Does he show a picture of the girl he has back home? He can't wait to get back to, and he mentions how he's going to retire from racing at the end of the week.
Right?
He was going to propose to his girlfriend and everything. Yeah, he just bought a house. It's like, man, today the last thing he says like, today's going to be a great day.
Yeah.
but well, the thing is,
wait, one more. And right before he goes out, he does a. And somebody says, "Are you okay?" No, I'm fine.
and then there's a napkin with blood on it. Yeah. Oh no! But okay, I tell you what though. The thing is, if people are getting pissed off because of this spoiler here about him dying, I tell you what, I knew that, going in, and knowing that intensifies every race that you see. I mean, because they show you a lot of races.
Yeah.
But you're just wondering. I'm like, okay, are they gonna like pull the rug under me and then it's going to be this race, and I'm just not going to know. It's going to pop out of nowhere. Because I tell you what, watching these races, especially how the camera's mounted, like I guess it's mounted like they traditionally are, where you can see the road, you see what's ahead of them.
Yeah.
Every time you see him turn a corner, you think, "Oh fuck!"
This is it.
And
This is
I
it.
know, and it's coming, and I had the same feeling watching this as I did watching Grizzly Man.
Yeah.
To where you're like, you see every close encounter that he has, and you're like, okay, this is gonna, oh fuck, and it just keeps you at the edge of your seat.
I got to tell you, we've all seen that footage on television. The way they do that, they have in the cockpit car.
Yeah.
And you're like, whatever. Man, watching that on a big movie screen,
It's incredible.
That's a totally different experience.
Wow.
Until
It really
you're
is.
just like,
Okay.
It's the Fast and the Furious of documentaries. dude.
Man, you guys are speaking my language now. I'm already thinking like, wow, you guys sound like how I felt when I saw Buck, when I went in for a movie I wasn't going to give a shit about, and was just like, wow, I not only loved that movie, I was emotional about it. Now you telling me all this, and you got the Fast and the Furious effect
Yep.
on the big screen,
Along with emotion. You don't get that with Fast and Furious. You ain't crying at the end because of Vin Diesel gets captured. You don't. The thing is, this movie though, you get enough about his personal life too. At least what's there, for them to let you know the important things about it. And you really sympathize for this guy, and you really admire him just because this is like his childhood dream. I mean, this is the only thing he's ever wanted to do with his life. And there are points where you see the people fucking with him, even at the point where the Formula One cars actually started to get more modernized with the electronics of it. The sad thing about it is that you kind of see this industry take its toll on this guy, and that's what I really loved about how much the industry took a toll on this guy. But yet he didn't want to. He honestly kept it. He kept staying there. He kept fighting the good fight.
Stay the course.
He was staying the course, and I mean, you really admire this guy. Especially what he did for Formula Racing. I mean, it's incredible.
Well, one last question I got for you guys: why is it that no one died after him? What did they do to keep that from ever happening?
Well,
there were things with the way the cars were, like rules to what they could do to the cars,
which I don't know why I feel like that's a spoiler because I didn't want to say anything.
Okay.
There
only
weren't
because
heavy safety guidelines beforehand, apparently, and that was like somebody that big and that beloved dying because of something going wrong with the car.
Yeah.
that kind of was like, okay, this bullshit can never. And somebody like in the film before that, not that long before that, dies too.
Yeah, that seems like it can almost be its own documentary, just about what was going on with these cars, the mechanics that they were putting into electronics they were putting into it, and how you just start seeing people. I mean, especially in this film, you start seeing drivers start to, they start falling off like flies. I mean, just with these cars getting into these wrecks, and each time you see Senna react. You see Senna like run out there and actually try to save a guy. I mean, you start to see these
really
cars getting worse.
Getting
emotional. And just the industry itself, you see it where it's like, man, I don't know why I'm doing this still. This is getting fucking crazy, like dangerous. And there's a reason for it. It's just, it seems like nobody really wants to say anything about it.
It's not till Tony Todd comes to him and starts explaining that to save their life, they have to take a life. Anyway, it may have been his final destination, but it was certainly better than those movies.
So I'm guessing you guys both give this a rental. Is that what you're going to?
This is not only the best documentary I've seen this year, it's one of the most exciting films I've seen this year, period. It's a fast-paced film. It's incredibly well put together. It's about a character you should know about, even if you don't care about sports or racing at all. He's a fascinating guy. I like that they portray different sides of him, because he's not all like a super good guy. He has points. He acts kind of like a dick, and you're like, oh, well, he's only human. Shit.
Oh, I thought he was just like, why not? You got it all, babe. When you got it all, you do what you want.
You're so jealous. But yeah, this is a high full price film for me. I really recommend going to see this.
Yeah, I would say this is a high full price for a documentary. I mean, it honestly, it's going to be interesting to see this go up with the the Buck movie. Just because they both play on almost the same themes in a way. Just as far as just getting an emotional resonance out of these characters and who they are and what they do, and about how passionate they are about it. But yeah, I mean, it blew me away. The car scenes alone are just incredible to watch. They really gear you up. I mean, after this,
no pun intended.
You know what? I fucking went and I went and fucking I jumped in a bumper car, and I was racing that bumper car like it was my life. I was making sure I was going to be the new Senna. I really was.
All these little kids have crashed and burned.
Fuck them.
Like, we're just trying to have fun out here.
Fuck them. Like, he got his start as a one of the kart racers. Like the little badass kids cars, but they go pretty fast.
Yeah, those kart races that you usually see. That I guess back in the day they used to have parks where you can go race the small.
They still do.
Yeah,
they still do. They got them here in Austin.
No, I thought they always closed down.
That's why I'm like, I was the first thing I thought, I was like, man, I'm going to go to one of those. And I was like, just picturing, like the little bubble opening up in my head of my imagination of me just running over kids and laughing.
Just stick to the bumper cars. It's cheap. It's cheaper. It's not so fast, but definitely furious.
And those kids will dust you. You don't want to get out there.
Yeah, I'll end up getting race car teabagged. Whatever the equivalent of that is.
Screw you, buddy!
I can see Cyrus with a big block of hay in his head.
It was the last time either of them would be on the podium.
Ayrton ran out of luck.
There is a lot to go, a lot to learn, a lot to do. But I have plenty of time. Pure driving, real racing. That makes me happy.